Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen with something quite exciting for you. I woke up to a Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 roadmap. Cloud Imperium have now shared their plans and goals for Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, which is planned to be released by the end of Q3 this year, 2024. So that would be roughly end of September. Often this gets pushed to around CitizenCon time in October for a release, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, please bear in mind, the features we're about to talk about are the initial goals. There's going to be more features added to this 4.0 build for sure, and some of these might not make the initial 4.0 launch, but the goal and target is that they will. We've got static server meshing. Server meshing version 1 is actually what they say. This enables multiple servers per shard to improve load distribution and facilitates navigation between two solar systems, Pyro and Stanton. So this will basically have them going, we're going to divide the Stanton system up into 5 or so servers, bam, 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 and you seamlessly move between them on a single shard, and they will also have Pyro, 5 or so servers, and all of those servers can seamlessly hand off authority between each other. And effectively, when you log into the game, you'll log into a different shard. We don't have shard affinity, I don't believe, in 4.0, so we can't necessarily choose what shard we're on. We'll still be able to join friends, though. Persistence changes will affect the shard you're on, not all shards, so bear that in mind for the most part anyway. There's stuff with base building and that sort of stuff that will come later. Jump points. So these are going to be connecting the Stanton and Pyro systems together. This includes the necessary vehicle items and functionality, and the jump points themselves, as well as their inner tunnels. During some of the server meshing tests, I actually tried that out. It was very untextured and all that sort of jazz. But yeah, that was a very functional mechanic that they had. Wasn't any sort of gameplay to it other than waiting in queue to go through the jump point and then going when it was your turn. There's a mission and transit system refactor to make this compatible with server meshing, allowing for easy creation and maintenance of mission content and the transit system, making them more robust as systems, that sort of jazz. Pyro space stations, various rundown space stations and stops around the Pyro system with services like repair, sustenance, commerce. Also, there's going to be different factions on board these, different missions and that sort of stuff for them as well. Colonialism outposts, a small home for AI to live and shelter in. They consist of a central hub and a few optional internal and external modules on planets. They provide the basic necessities to support a small group of people for an indefinite amount of time. There was obviously going to be missions and stuff associated with these areas as well. Solar burst. Dangerous natural disasters that happen regularly around older stars like Pyro. In these instances, the sun erupts with a high-energy particle wave generated from its surface, traveling at 15% the speed of light through the entire star system. This dangerous high-energy particle wave can be avoided by hiding behind other objects that are big enough, but it does horrible things to your ship and to your fragile human flesh body. Life support systems. These are ship components that generate breathable gas when turned on, and management of those life support components within the ship loadout manager is also part of that. Life support systems will sort of manage the maximum size of a crew or people that you could have on board a ship without causing issues, because you're not going to be able to create enough oxygen. Engineering gameplay, allowing players to manage, maintain, and repair various ship systems. Players can assume different roles that each provide a unique gameplay loop. With engineering gameplay, players have to contend with item degradation, malfunctions, power management. We know that there's going to be fuses, power relays, you're going to be switching in and out components. Physical components is very much part of that as well, but also our fires, and the fire hazard system is in, which tracks fire and temperature on static and dynamic objects. For the initial release, fire will be set up on a few select vehicles. This will also include working fire extinguishers though. Charge and drain, adding the ability for players to drain, store, and charge objects with power using the multi-tool. This includes the ability to overcharge objects and also remove distortion damage. Multi-tool updates, raising the multi-tool up to the standard from Squadron 42 with additional functionality like cutting for specific scenarios, repair, and updates like improved handling, integrated UI, and the use of batteries to operate it. There's an MFD multifunction display rework and new displays. This rebuilds the ship's MFDs with building blocks, including new design functionality and customization options. This update also includes a select number of updated ship HUDs, giving greater visibility, as well as a manufacturer-based visual overhaul. The quasi-grazer. This is an animal. He's large, warm-blooded, a herd animal. It was originally discovered on the vast plains of Quasi on Terra, most notable for their unusual method of carrying their eggs on their underside. The quasi-grazer has become one of the standard seed animals that can be commonly found on most terraformed planets in the UEE. There's additional player customization with more hair and facial hair options, as well as face piercings. And you've got the RSI Zeus Mark II ES. So this is the Explorer variant of that Zeus Mark II series. No word on the other variants yet, though. And no words on any more ships and vehicles coming with 4.0 yet, but expect a reasonable amount. But what is Pyro without planets and moons? And there are a lot of them planned for the initial release of 4.0. Pyro 1, it's the closest planet to the sun in the Pyro system. It's got thick, high-pressure atmosphere, and it hides a strange landscape beset by powerful winds and lightning strikes. Under the clouds, there is an ecosystem of plants and animals that endure its extremely high temperatures, even during powerful stellar flares. Pyro 2, known as Monox. It's named Monox because of its deadly carbon monoxide atmosphere. It has a temperate climate and was seen as a viable candidate for terraforming shortly after its discovery. However, its proximity to the system's volatile sun made it dangerous for human habitation, and the United Nations of Earth refused to clear it for terraforming, instead allowing corporations to harvest its natural resources. Undeterred by its potential risk, outlaws eventually took up residence on the planet when the last corporations pulled out of Pyro in the 26th century. Pyro 3, otherwise known as Bloom. Cold but naturally habitable, it became the epicenter of mining endeavors in Pyro. Pyrotechnic Amalgamated and other corporations constructed multiple staging areas, employee barracks, and processing centers that were in use until the cost of their maintenance could no longer be offset by mining profits. Abandoned when the last active corporations in Pyro ceased operations there in the late 26th century, they were claimed by squatters, outlaws, and former miners who lacked the means to return to the United Empire of Earth. Pyro 4 is now the outermost moon of Pyro 5, and astronomers theorise that it was once the fourth planet from the sun of the Pyro system. At some point before humans discovered Pyro, a massive celestial body collided with Pyro 4, catastrophically warping its landscape, destroying its atmosphere, and knocking it into the orbit of a nearby gas giant, Pyro 5. Although the tectonic activity that resulted from this impact has quieted and a new atmosphere has formed, Pyro 4 is far from stable. It is on a long, slow collision course with Pyro 5 and will one day either crash into it or break up into a ring. Pyro 5, oddly, the fourth planet from the sun in the Pyro system, technically. It was given the classification of Pyro 5 when researchers realised that its moon was actually technically Pyro 4. Pyro 5 is a gas giant, and residents and travellers through the Pyro system are known to harvest the hydrogen from Pyro 5's green and yellow atmosphere. Pyro 6, otherwise known as Terminus, is the outermost world of the Pyro system. Its nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere is technically breathable, but contains high enough amounts of methane and carbon dioxide that it has a negative effect on one's health after extended exposure. Pyrotechnic Amalgamated placed their main hub of operations in orbit around Terminus, later abandoning the station when they left the system. This is known as Ruin Station. However, it doesn't appear that Ruin Station is part of the initial 4.0 release yet. It is very likely and possible that it will be coming just a bit after 4.0's release, but we'll have to wait and see. Pyro 5 as well has an additional 6 moons: Ignis, Vatra, Adir, Pharaoh, Fugo, and Ver, or Ver. Ignis is the innermost moon of Pyro 5. The multiple canyons and dry riverbeds on its surface suggest that liquid water once flowed there in the distant past. It's got a frigid temperature and deadly atmosphere of sulfur dioxide. There is a small amount of oxygen in the atmosphere that people use to resupply their air reserves with. You've got Vatra as well, the second moon. Its thick, high-pressure atmosphere of nitrogen and methane support an ecosystem of plants that subsist on hydrocarbons instead of carbon dioxide. There is some water present as well in the form of ice. Adir, the third moon, jagged mountains and rocky hills dominate its crater-ridden landscape. Doesn't have much in the way of an atmosphere, so lots of stuff just collides with the moon. Furrow, the fourth moon, a hotbed of seismic activity. It experiences frequent earthquakes that disturb its deep oceans of brackish water. It has a thriving ecosystem both on the surface and under the sea, as well, supported by its dense atmosphere. Fugo, it's the fifth moon, relatively temperate but still cold. It has a mostly carbon dioxide atmosphere with small percentages of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, and oxygen. High amounts of iron sulfide in its soil give it a yellowish, blackish appearance. The sixth moon, it has increased greenhouse gas effect going on, so it's got like dense carbon dioxide atmosphere. It's unusually warm for a moon that's so distant from the sun. Its carbon-rich soil supports forms of vegetation that utilize crystalline carbon in their base structures. It's going to be a farming place. You're going to be able to farm here, it sounds like. That's it for what the roadmap showed. We are hoping that Cloud Imperium are able to get things like the Pyro crab that's supposed to be on Pyro 2, I believe. Loads more ships and vehicles, loads more of those gangs of Pyro in there, and lots of new types of mission and minables, potentially base building and crafting, loads and loads of stuff that could make it into that 4.0 patch. I'm really looking forward to, I'm really hyped about, and obviously some of it will start to appear a bit later on. Will CIG be able to make a end of Q3, end of September live release of this? Hopefully. It will be the biggest and most important patch of Star Citizen so far because of server meshing, because of that additional star system, because of all that additional game space and all that important tech. Lots of people are worried about a 3.18 situation, but they've tested server meshing a few times, externally even, and it seems to work. They've been improving and ironing that out, and there's going to be loads more tests before 4.0 goes live. But I'm really interested to know what other features you think may be added to 4.0. What are you hoping to see? When do you think it's actually going to be released? What ships and vehicles do you expect to turn up? Are you like, yeah, the Apollo's going to turn up, and the Legionnaire? Is there anything from that list that you're like, oh, there's no way it will turn up? And things like Ruin Station, do you think that's coming in the initial 4.0 build, or actually as a hero location there, it's probably going to take a little bit longer for them to get that fully done? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. And I would love for you to go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. That gives you access to a good old discount on NordVPN, and NordVPN gives you better accessibility and viewability of the internet, as well as privacy and security. It's so helpful. I have it on my Chrome extensions. Bam! I just click it and then quick connect to a server, or go, bam, I want to be in the USA today, or maybe Japan. Something else that you might be interested in is Tobii Eye Tracker, giving you precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen, but in other games as well. But for Star Citizen, it is natively supported. I really love my Tobii Eye Tracker. I think it's absolutely awesome piece of kit, adding another tool to my Star Citizen belt. They are on sale until the 20th of May. Use the links down below for all of that, and that will help the channel out and might help you out with some cool stuff that you may well want, but maybe you don't, and if you don't, then don't click it. There you go, good advice. May in Star Citizen is about fleets and Fleet Week and flying with friends, and we've partnered up with Lunar Wolves, a Star Citizen org, to give away a fleet of ships. Commenting on any of my videos during the month not only gets you a chance to win a Spirit C1, but also a Constellation Andromeda, a Vanguard Sentinel, and a Corsair, courtesy of Lunar Wolves. They'll each be going out to a different winner chosen randomly from the video comments. But wait, there is more. Sign up to the Lunar Wolves recruitment page, link down below, for a chance for even more ships, including an RSI Polaris with lifetime insurance and a Hornet F7C Mark II. Winners of those will be selected randomly from eligible org signups. Lunar Wolves welcome all that share their passion for adventure and love of Star Citizen. You can learn more about them on their org page or at lunarwolves.org. If you would like to further support our channel, please like, subscribe, comment, share these videos. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, and I would love you to, please consider becoming a Patreon or clicking that join button under my videos. It goes a huge way in allowing us to make daily content and keep the channel going. You'll get some exclusive content from that as well. Anytime Zin and I can actually put it out, as well as help evolve the channel with polls and suggestions and that sort of stuff. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and have a great May. It's going to be a good one.